we are covering another Black Mirror episode, this time from the previous season. Joan is awful.
And I'm sure there's someone on the internet who does think we're awful, and I hope they keep it to themselves because I'll be sad.
I mean, I'm sure.
Little baby.
That's like a sign of success sometimes. When people think that you're awful. Some people think we're awesome and wonderful.
Well, I'm going to talk about, can this happen? You know? Also, like, what's happening in the world of tech that's really stressful? So I'm going to talk a bit about surveillance and data mining. We've all had a conversation with our friends or something and later seen ads on our computer and phones about it. Like, literally, like, I'm at work looking up cabinets and then I see advertisements for cabinets on all of my devices, even outside work. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally, you are being tracked. Our data is being mined constantly, even when you go extensively out of your way to disable tracking. Like, I've watched all those videos where it's like, go into your settings and disable this feature and turn off AI tracking here. And it's like, even with that, like, it's so embedded into everything now to the point where it's so hard to avoid it. Like, even like you update your computer and they turn everything you turned off back on.
Yep. Like, and they make it so hard to find them.
So, like, even when you go out of your way to disable this, there are ways that you're still being exploited without your consent just by using the technology. And I'm not saying, like, let's all become Luddites and move to the woods. But it's so hard to avoid. And it is very scary because of just, like, how unaware a lot of people are. And especially thinking of, like, future generations that are coming up in this, like, heavily tech inundated world that, like, it's just going to be so embedded into just what it is to exist as a person.
It's gonna be too late.
Yeah. So it's scary out here ultimately. And for some tech, even just using it makes you vulnerable to this kind of privacy invasion, as there are settings you can just not turn off. Like Microsoft specifically, their computers, like it's almost impossible to turn off the like screen grabbing thing that they use to train their AI models. It's like, just by buying the tech, you kind of are just agreeing to have that happen to you. Like, you can't really turn it off. One of the biggest issues is that this level of surveillance is not being regulated at the level that it needs to. And many companies do it, essentially. They surveil us until they get caught and subsequently sued. It's not like, we're going to do the right thing first. We'll ask forgiveness later with $1 million that we have tons of money for, and it doesn't even matter to us. And we'll steal those records so you don't even have to worry about it. Specifically, looking at you, Meta, they are constantly being sued for this kind of thing specifically. And the issue largely is that the data mining is encouraged by many companies under capitalism because their information, attention, and identities hold like significant value, especially in this tech world. Like, our attention is so valuable
it's currency
to these companies. It is currency. And like, specifically, like, the way that this has been manipulated isn't yet to the point of Joan is awful. Like, we're luckily in a place where it's not that scary yet, because we don't have like the cameras and drone distribution. Like, the bees don't have cameras in them yet at the rate shown in the show. However, many tech companies have already been sued for overreaching in their data collection. Apple has been sued for Siri listening in on our conversations and agreed to pay $95 million from a 2021 lawsuit, which was recently reported as of May 2025. That's like nothing to them. They have so much money. Like, 95 million split between however many people, you're getting like $5. And also there was a settlement that was reached in a lawsuit against Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg as of July 17th, 2025. So like last week, that basically was from a privacy scandal involving the Cambridge Analytica political consulting firm, basically suing them for invasively taking our data without our consent. And also like, allegedly for now, but like, looking at our data without our consent and privacy scandals, essentially. Microsoft has also been sued by authors for the use of books in their AI training. So essentially screen grabbing content. and then distributing it to use to train their AI models, which like they have deals. These authors have intellectual property rights. You can't just take their content, use it to train the AI models, and then be like, oh, look, their books and their way of speaking and their words are stolen forever to be sold by companies for cheaper.
Right.
So this was as of June 25th, 2025. So this is all happening presently. And because of how deregulated AI specifically is, we're going to see this continue to pop up as it has until these industries become more heavily regulated. And under the current administration, that's not like a hopeful outcome.
No, not at all.
So as we delve into AI and AI training, there's also been countless companies that have faced extensive backlash because of their use of AI. I mean, the similar people are the ones to be named. So specifically, Microsoft, Meta, Apple, heavily integrating AI into their products, but also Adobe has been called out for this recently because of the fact that they're going to pull content from like Photoshop usage, Illustrator usage, InDesign usage to put into their AI models. It literally art and like graphic design, like a marketable skill that is like a person's entire way of life is being stolen so that they can cheaply make graphic design tools and AI tools, basically devaluing these people's work. So they've gotten a lot of backlash. A lot of artists, there was like a really big pull for Meta to flee Meta essentially as artists because of like their intellectual property rights being stolen, because their art was being funneled into AI models. Like now there are new apps coming up that are making promises to not do this kind of AI integration. So like there are places to go, but if you're using these tools as like advertising, like you need the money to like get people to your shop. Meta is like the only platform that has the infrastructure for that. So you kind of have to give and take. Like you can run all your art through AI scrambling software that will be outdated in a few months in the meantime. But it's like you have to repost all your art, repost all your engagement. It really just like messes up your entire system. But some people just have to because that's like their livelihood. So all these companies are facing backlash for their integration of AI, but it's so integrated that it's hard to avoid. So Apple similarly has continued to embed AI more heavily into its systems. Like every update kind of turns on the settings for all the AI integrations. You have to turn them all back off for the tracking because they track everything. Like your Photos app, your Notes app, it's all being tracked by AI unless you turn those settings off. And it's become harder and harder to avoid and harder to disable the features that track our data. And as Gabe discusses in their section, AI is trying to exploit literal identities through AI extras, but it extends even further than that. We could very well see a Salma Hayek AI movie in our lifetime, although I doubt like she specifically would agree to this if she's doing the Black Mirror episode on it. But like some other actor at the very least. And if you want to hear us unpack 10 companies misusing their user data through data mining, I recommend our Possessor episode, although it is like kind of dated at this point, but I still think we were pretty relevant. I'm sure the technology has changed somewhat, as well as our surveillance episode to cover like how heavily surveilled we are as a populace, which is also pretty dated. But like Snowden did happen. So like it is like kind of like the basis for what we're seeing unpacked today. So it's kind of like more, if anything, a historical lesson and like how we got here and why like the government is not so much doing anything about it because they heavily benefit from this level of surveillance. And then I will continue into deepfakes and AI. So like deepfake technology, obviously we've talked about it before, but as Gabe went over, like they are starting to integrate extras into acting, our extras and their personas being like integrated into the AI models to like steal their likeness. They're also doing this with regular like famous people. So David Beckham specifically recently allowed his voice and face to be altered with AI to speak different languages in order to reach more people, which is discussed in an article on WIPO magazine titled Artificial Intelligence Deepfakes in Entertainment Industry. And while there are positive use cases for this, like Gabe was even saying, like they're speaking Spanish and they don't usually speak Spanish. This is weird. There's a lot of ethical issues to consider. So basically David Beckham was like, you can make me speak 9 different languages as long as you're telling everyone about the impact of malaria. So he consented to that. So his likeness and mouth was trained to move differently, and different voiceover actors helped train his voice to speak different languages, essentially, so he could reach more people. That's a positive introduction of it when done with consent. And then it's also like, I don't know what his terms and conditions were. In 5 years, we could see David Beckham doing something David Beckham probably wouldn't have consented to because he allowed his face to be manipulated with AI. I don't know how good his lawyers are. So time will tell how that turns out. And there's also an art installation which allows users to take a surreal selfie with Salvador Dali, which is
so
fun,
crazy,
but super questionable because Salvador Dali was born in 1908, I'm pretty sure. So like, I don't think he'd want his image to be manipulated in this way, because he had no way in his lifetime of being able to imagine the way tech could be used in this future.
Like, it's also like, would he want that? Like, would he even want to be like shown in this way, period? Like, it's also another thing of like, as an artist or someone who like defines how they're seen, and then you're like, oh, do this thing with them. It's like, maybe they hate that. Don't take a picture with fake Frida Kahlo. She hates that.
Exactly. So essentially, like, it is super ethically questionable. Like, even if their family signs off, like we talked about that in the Alien Romulus episode, like, you don't know unless that person is like physically there to tell you, like, yeah, cool, go ahead. So, and much more concerning side of this is what is now developing, which mimics what we see take place in Joan Is Awful, but without as much automation, essentially. So we're not quite there yet, but we're well on our way. There are deepfake actors being hired to do all the work of acting, but under the wrapper of a more famous actor. So literally what Kayla Lorette wrapped in Annie Murphy wrapped in Salma Hayek suit, like, that is very possible with what they're currently developing. The article continues to describe a pretty upsetting process where commercial applications of deepfakes currently include both hiring an underlying deepfake actor as well as individuals whose likeness will be used in a wrapper, i.e. the visage or likeness portrayed in the content, for the underlying performance. Where the so-called wrapper is a famous personality, this may save the underlying talent hours of time they would have otherwise needed to spend on set. That burden can now be shifted, they make it sound so positive, to the deepfake actor instead. So Salma Hayek doesn't have time to be doing Joan Is Awful, so we're going to hire a newer actor to just be a body double for Salma Hayek and act out all the scenes, and then get paid significantly less, put in all that time, energy, and like acting into the situation. And then Salma Hayek's face gets like put on their face, and is essentially manipulated without like giving them the acting credit and stuff. Like, it's like very ethically questionable. And they say like, additionally, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's, to me, that feels like James Patterson, the author, he like comes out with a new book like every 5 minutes, and it's because he's like, he just puts his name on it. He has like shadow writers, and so sometimes it'll be like James Patterson and a person, but sometimes he just takes full credit, and it's literally, I don't think he's written a book in decades, but he still has books coming out every year, every few minutes, and it's because he has these shadow writers. So it's like that, it's like he's the rapper because he knows that will sell, and this like, you know, lowly writer who doesn't even get their name out there is doing all the work.
It's like, I guess you could also think of it as like songwriters who like write for famous artists but don't get like the credit. Like, we see the popularity of K-pop Demon Hunters, but like the main girl in that, like, she was trying to become a K-pop idol for a long time, and like they wouldn't let her because she was like older, and then she has proved all of them wrong, essentially. So she was writing for all these other famous K-pop groups, just and like was Kesha. Getting like so like it's been happening. They're just developing a new way to do it, to like disenfranchise people. So additionally, such technology allows influencers to create personalized messages for hundreds of thousands of individuals without the need to actually record each message. And they make it sound so positive, but it's like really gross.
It's like, why would you want that?
Yeah, like, I get it. It saves time for sure. I get that. But like, also, then your likeness can be like manipulated to do things that you didn't do. Like, it's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
So in essence, you save a company money, but rob the actor.
Right.
Which is ultimately what they want all along. It's like capitalism 101. And this technology was recently used to change Snoop Dogg's lyrics for an ad he had previously participated in. So the technology is called Synthesia AI. Can you say what? Yeah, Synthesia AI. And their website brags about the money saving potential of this technology. And it seems that in this instance, Snoop Dogg gave them permission to do this. But before this technology, they would have had to pay him again for his time to record this entire music video again, as well as all the other actors and performers in the commercial and tech crew. Like, they would have had to redo the shoot to change the company name. Like, it was like Eat Now, and then it changed to like something else. Like, they just changed their company name. So they changed his lyrics to sing the different company name using AI, and didn't like repay him his full rate for that experience, or maybe paid him but then didn't pay all those other people. Like, I don't have the exact details of the contract that they did, but like, you're robbing a lot of people of the logistical money that would have gone out to pay all these actors, background characters, tech crew, music producers, etc. So now they're making a quick edit that does save them time and money, but in a world where money is literally life, they're robbing these people. It's ethically questionable. So the last thing I'll cover is our flaws fuel marketing trends. And this was like, people might already know this, but I was just like, just in case, I need to talk about this because it's really gross, something Meta does specifically. And it kind of ties back to what you were talking about, Gabe, with like, there's not marketing for everyone's awesome. It's always everyone's awful because people get sucked into their insecurities and flaws.
Yeah.
So Meta has been making money off of this, allegedly. So even more upsetting, in case you have not heard this, Meta has been flagged for manipulating user mental health to feed ad revenue. In an article titled "Meta Whistleblower Sarah Wynne Williams Says Company Targeted Ads at Teens Based on Their Emotional State" on TechCrunch, they stated in interviews with Senators Marsha Blackburn, and basically Sarah Wynne Williams claimed that Meta, which was known as Facebook at the time, had targeted 13 to 17-year-olds with ads when they were feeling down or depressed. She said it would identify when they were feeling worthless or helpless or like a failure, and then Meta would take that information and share it with advertisers. Wynne Williams told the senators that on the subcommittee for crime and terrorism within the Judiciary Committee, that advertisers understand when people don't feel good about themselves, it's often a good time to pitch a product. People are more likely to buy something. So she continued that advertisers were informed by the company when teens were depressed so that they could deliver ads at their most vulnerable state. And an example they provided was a teen girl deleting a selfie and then an advertiser being cued to push beauty products to that child because she may be feeling badly about her appearance. Similarly, they pushed weight loss products to teens who expressed concerns around bodily confidence. In the usage of this data, Wynne Williams claimed that the company Meta claimed that the 13 to 17-year-olds were very valuable to advertisers as a demographic because of their vulnerability. And Wynne Williams apparently expressed the ethical problems with this to their exec, like on the job, and was like, this is fucked, don't do this. Specifically because Meta is $1 trillion company. They have enough money. They don't need to exploit this vulnerable population of emotional teens. Like, they don't need to do that. They don't need to be dragons.
Right.
And they do it anyway, essentially. So she was like, don't do this. And they were like, we got to make the money. We got to hoard more wealth. And the TechCrunch article suggests that because of this manipulation of teen emotional states, it's reasonable to assume that the same was done to adults to fuel advertisements. And it was even listed later that this was done for young pregnant women. So further concerning, they stated that Facebook was doing research on young mothers and their emotional states for undisclosed reasons, but suggesting, connecting the two dots between what they were doing for teens very obviously to fuel advertisements. I don't know why else they would be researching the mental states of young mothers.
Right.
So, showcasing a bit of their intent, it was stated that in the hearing that Meta executives would not allow their own children to use the products that they built. And when Williams said, I would say, oh, has your teen used the new product we're about to launch? And they would respond, my teenagers are not allowed on Facebook. I'll have my teenager on Instagram. These executives, they know the harm that this product does. They don't allow their own teenagers to use the product that Meta develops. The hypocrisy it is at every level. So Meta has since denied these claims, although considering the nature of the lawsuits that they have settled in recent years, as well as like this was a hearing with like Congress on like terrorism. It's pretty serious, like the allegations that were being made. Meta has since denied them, but has also faced recent lawsuits essentially about privacy issues and like basically stealing user data without consent. So it's just like there's a lot of ethically questionable stuff happening at the end of the day. So listeners, it's up to you to decide what you want to believe there. They have denied the claims. It's all alleged, but it sounds gross.
Definitely ultimately. Check out Win Williams' book, Careless People, though. It's on my list. I've been waiting for the library.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I want to read it too. It seems
very good.
I think we talked about it in another episode. I can't remember. Yeah. But yeah, she wrote it like a whole book, essentially, about how effed Facebook, like working there was. So yeah, no, I need to read that as well. And then the last thing I'll talk about, which is what I pitched at the beginning, could this happen to you? Could Joan is awful happen to you? Could you be Gabe is awful, Cat is awful, etc.? And the short answer is yeah. But the long answer, the show does sensationalize it a bit. So in an article titled, Could Joan is Awful Happen to Me? An Australian Legal Perspective on the Dangers of Not Reading the Terms and Conditions, the impact is that. And the result, is just like, it could happen, but it's not like as dramatic as they made it seem in the show. So there are things you can do to fight this kind of a data infringement. They highlight specifically highlighting like infringements on public policy. So like you may have signed off your individual rights, but the level of surveillance taking place that would make a show like Joan is Awful possible could be easily argued to break public policy laws. Like the level of surveillance taking place is not safe for society as a whole. You have you have companies who have NDAs, governmental secrets, etc. Like you can't have an everyone is awful show because then you're going to have complete chaos of like secrets that should not be shared being breached across the board. So the government would have to interact with that in some way. Like, and then like you're also stealing money from a lot of rich people who would be pissed that you're doing that. You know what I mean?
That,
so
that
like
company that Joan worked for, there's a separate lawsuit that has to be happening in the background where they're suing Streamberry because they released the NDA. Like, it's not just Joan. Like that doesn't fix it. There's now a real threat of like their secrets, their company secrets could be shared.
Yeah, and then it's going to impact their stocks. It's going to impact a lot of stuff. And it's like, they did not consent to that. Like, the company doesn't have a Streamberry account, you know? So the article does give some helpful next steps that were not highlighted in the show that could be used, which is a cease and desist letter, which is recommended that if you were ever to experience this level of, like, defamation, to pursue that first. Even if you would not win the case, it is likely that many people could seek out compensation from the company at the very least. Like you probably could get a settlement from the company, which does not fix the problem, but like would be worth it if you've lost your job because of what has taken place. Or at the very least, delay them in their distribution of the content because lawsuits tie up their ability to like distribute the media because it's like in consideration, essentially. It's evidence. And they also list templates on their website for cease and desist letter templates. And I think the public policy one is the strongest, though. It's like if you're an individual dealing with this, the cease and desist makes sense. But like if they're doing this to everybody, like they're going to have to get other people involved. The only risk here is if something like this were to happen is the company doing so would likely already have prepared a defense. Like that's such a blatant and bold move of Streamberry that they would very likely have already like prepared their entire legal team to anticipate this. Like, think Jurassic Park. Like, they call their lawyers up when they're about to open up. Like, they know something's going to go wrong. So the ultimate moral of the story is, as Gabe said, read the terms and conditions if you can, as much as you can. That's how you're going to keep yourself safe.
Maybe do some research into lawyer lingo.
Yeah.
To find out.
You feel like you're like reading like policy. It's like great.
It's hard. It is hard to do. Yeah. This one is like it's definitely more funny than anything, and like it's not like horror. It's just like it is drama. Like, honestly,
oh God, yeah.
You know, but I think like this one is really scary because it really is true. Like like we keep saying that. I mean, Black Mirror does a really great job. Like the writers over there absolutely get it. This episode was actually inspired by the portrayal of Elizabeth Holmes, who did Theranos, which is like a make-believe, like it was a hoax. It was a company that was doing like blood test research, and she like fancied herself like just any of the like CEOs that we see. Like she like changed her voice to be deeper, and she wore like turtlenecks like Steve Jobs, and did all that stuff, and it was nothing. She had nothing. She was just a con artist. But her whole thing was like she got caught in it, and then there was a whole trial, and then like months later there was like a drama series about her where this actor is like portraying her life. And so they were just like, this is really scary how fast that happens. Like the fact that like it just happened and it turned around. So it was like Charlie Booker like watched that documentary and was like, wow, that's crazy. So that's what inspired it, which is like, that's like real life Joan is awful in a way, right? It's like when we take true crime and we like dramatize it, which happens all the time. Yeah, like you know, like when they have like the documentaries, that's one thing, but like I'm sure there was probably a Gabby Petito like, you know, Lifetime movie-esque thing that came out after she died. Like those kinds of things happen, and that's like the equivalent of our current day. And just imagine if we did that even faster and it was AI.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like every day I wake up and it's like a new thing where I'm like, wow, I feel like we were just talking about that like a month ago being like a horrifying future reality, and it's like our now reality. Right. And I just need that to stop happening because it's really wild.
I agree.
It's like literally like months ago we were like, yeah, that sounds really scary. We hope that doesn't happen. And then it's like immediately happening. And we're like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
That was a future time. That was a future why.
Right.
So it's weird to be alive right now, ultimately.
Yeah. But I mean, we'll see. Like, I mean, like the fact that like the actors went on strike and were fighting that so quickly after like this episode came out, like that's a little bit of a hope. And it worked, right? Like, like we're able to like make something of it, you know?
Yeah. No, that's true. We just gotta keep fighting.
All right. Well, let us know what you think. If you've read Careless People, let us know what you think. If you have read Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle, let us know what you think. Check out my review on it. And let us know what your favorite episode of Black Mirror is. If you ever want us to do more Black Mirror episodes in the future, we'd love to.
Heck yeah.
And
I'm down.
Don't get married.
Delete your kids.
Yeah. Put your kids on television.
No.
Or they see your kid is insecure.
Yeah, it's so supplements. Yeah.
It's sketchy. It's like when they gave out all those free computers and they were like actually watching the kids the whole time. Do you remember that scandal? Crazy. Yeah. People like it, as crazy as things are, it's like if you can think of it, somebody's doing it.
Yeah.
Protect yourself, everyone. All right, bye.
Bye.